Recording in progress.
The state of Vajrasattva. And let's go to the 4 limitless contemplations. May all beings have happiness and create the causes of happiness. May they all be free from suffering and creating the causes of suffering. May they find that noble happiness which can never be tainted by suffering. May they attain universal impartial compassion, free of worldly bias towards friends and enemies. Semchen tamche dewatang dewe jutang den pa juchik dungal tang dungal chichu tang trawa juchik dungal mepe dewa tampatang mindrawa juchik Nering chaktang nitandrawe tangrong chempola nepa juchik. I just want to send something to someone who never got it. Sorry, it's my fault. And then let's start. Okay. So tonight we're going to do, hello Denny, it's nice to see you as well. Tonight we're going to do, let me get it out, a bit many things that I've got here, so I've just got to keep it all going. Let's get there. So tonight we're going to do clearing of lethal karma, the path to Vajrasattva, okay? And this is part 4. And if you missed a lot of the other teachings in the last 3 sessions, it would be nice if you went, because I really explain all that we are cleansing, all that we are doing. And it's really quite important when you look at Vajrasattva to look at all the cleansing that we do and to really understand that, because I want to go on tonight, which is important for us to really get to the end of the path of Vajrasattva and then also to go on to the merit. So I'm going to start with this little story. It's a tiny little story, but it actually says everything about human beings. Nasruddin was at a football game. He had been shouting until halftime and felt thirsty. I'm going to get a drink of water, he told his friend. And one for me said, in a few minutes, Nasruddin came back. I tried to have a drink of water for you, but I found that after I had my own drink, that you were not thirsty after all. Okay, now that story people talk about all the time because it's really a beautiful story, because so many times we can laugh, but actually that's the basis of duality, okay? It's the basis, because the I, me, becomes the center of our worlds, and it's our perception of me that causes us to view everything from the me and mine perspective. And we judge everything like this, and this is exactly how we create negative imprints and a lack of compassion, because we're defending our egos all the time, and we're not learning to see where other people are coming from. It's so important to see where other people are coming from, not to always see it in terms of I and me. So after Nasruddin had the drink, he just found that his friend wasn't thirsty. And I think when we're going well or when we're going badly, we think the whole world is like that, and it's not. So we have to learn that the world is not dualistic and purify all we did when we thought it was. So I want to give you another little story tonight, and it's called, let me just give it to you, The Sunset and the Twilight, a cycle of renewal. And I think this is a very important story. In a remote monastery, on top of a mountain lived a young monk named Shen. Shen was an eager student, but he struggled with a problem. Every time he made a mistake or failed in his practice, He could not let this go. He dwelt on his disappointment and let it dominate his thoughts and emotions. Welcome to the human world. One day, after a particularly difficult training session, Shen was feeling especially down. His master, Master Wang, noticed this and led Shen to a cliff overlooking the western sky. They sat together, watching the sun slowly set, bathing the sky in colors of red and gold. What do you see, Shen? Asked Master Wang. I see a sunset, Shen replied. And how does that make you feel? Continued Master Wang. I feel sadness, Master. The day is ending and darkness will come. Shen said. Master Wang nodded and said, yes, sunset marks the end of the day and darkness will follow. But what comes after darkness, Shen? Shen thought for a moment and then said, dawn, Master. That's right, Shen. Master Wang said with a smile, after darkness always comes dawn, the beginning of a new day. That is the natural cycle of the world. And so it is with our mistakes and failures, Shen, Master Wang continued. When we make a mistake, and I'm adding there, when we go through really difficult problems in our life, when we fail, it's like the sun is setting. It's an ending, yes, but it's also the beginning of something new. With every mistake, with every failure, we have the opportunity to make a new beginning. The darkness is only temporary and the dawn will always come. Shen sat looking now at the starry sky and let his master's words sink in. He now understood that failures and mistakes and all the negative things we go through are just part of the learning process, part of the natural cycle of life. He could see them as opportunities for improvement and growth rather than endpoints. From that day on, every time he made a mistake or failed, he remembered the sunset and the dawn, and he would immediately not attach to the darkness, joyfully anticipating the new day that would come with the next sunrise. Now, I love that story because I really think that I've got so many people at the moment that are going through such dark eras. They're really having a difficult time. They're really having a dark time in their lives and a dark period in their lives. And you know what? It's very important to know that we are the creators of that dark period. It's not some outside force that is giving it to us. It's our concept, our idea, how we view it, how we see it. But remember, someone was saying to me today, well, Melanie, why should I know, exactly what death is? I mean, for years and years, nobody's really known what death is and where we're going. Why should I know? I said, I'll tell you exactly why you should know. Because if you don't know, and you really don't know where you're going, and you don't know you've got this true nature, what happens in the whole beginning section of death is that you do not recognize it because you've never trained in it. You're so acclimatized to your own human way and all your dark ideas and everything, you just miss it. You miss the first pure thing and you miss the second. You miss both in a most incredible way. And then from there, it's really important to understand that then you land up, I explained to you, in the third bardo. And I said, in the third bardo, it's not a lord of karma. It's not a master. It's not God. It's not anybody who shows you how you've been. It's you. Because now you haven't got a physical body to hide in. Hello, hi, Eugene. So now you are seeing exactly what it is, what you have done. And I said, people don't like it. In my sleep state, I often go and see people in that third bardo, and they're frightened because they see the repetitive They see the repetitive things and they feel absolutely terrible about it. And all they want to do is go into embodiment and plonk into embodiment and plonk into a family that brings out these things. And then they're going, I don't understand why I've got these parents, why I've got this situation, why I haven't got money, why I've got people who don't understand me, why I've got this difficult childhood, because we haven't recognized the rest. So we have to go down that road. And that's what Vajrasattva cleansing is about. And even what we were doing tonight, doing Chenrezi, is a cleansing process. It's cleansing all those negative things. And I just want to say one more thing, and that is in terms of your dreams. You can question me on this with pleasure. But what's very important is we were discussing the karmic traces, and we were discussing that those karmic traces actually that we've got in the alaya or substrate consciousness, we can also use dreams to really understand those, okay? Because it's really important. This is a whole subject matter, but for purposes of waking up to our karmic traces and how they fit in with our lives, using our dreams is really an effective way to read our karmic tapestry. Now, in Tibetan dream yoga, different to Western dream yoga, but what I'm talking about tonight is not the deep Tibetan dream yoga. I'm talking about the 3 types of dreams that we have in Tibetan dream yoga. We have ordinary samsaric dreams, and those are the ones that really help us to understand our karmic traces. We have dreams of clarity. That's when we've left the samsaric dreams a little bit, and now we've come to actually see who we are, the dreams of clarity. They're lucid dreams, and they're more stable. And you actually have them in a dream body. We're not worrying about that now. I've done lots of talks on that, and I'll do again talks on that. But I just want to mention them. And then thirdly, we have the clear light dreams, which are our pure nature, no delusion, totally conscious, waking up to the light of who we are. Okay, now for our purposes in the path to Vajrasattva, we're looking at the samsaric dreams, especially your repetitive dreams. If you have repetitive dreams and you go, I'm always here and this is always happening to me, those are a wonderful way to read your karmic tapestry. Okay, in brief, all our experiences in this life, which I've been talking about in the last 3 sessions, is shaped by karmic traces or imprints, whatever we do. And bakchak, the word bakchak, means traces of something left behind earlier in this life or in previous lives, okay? Especially deep imprints. Now, to understand the process, not to go into it deeply, we can do it another time if you want me to do it again. These are like photographs. Now, I know today we don't really print photographs that much, or maybe we do a lot. Maybe, Igor, we do, I'm not sure, but, you know, there are these amazing ways of looking at it. But these are photographs. So it's like when you are creating your karmic traces, you've got a camera and you take a photograph of whatever it is that you're creating. And when you sleep, it's like the dark room where the photograph is developed. We dream of the imprints only in the samsaric dreams, not in the higher dreams. We dream of the imprints, the conditioned tendencies and habit propensities. We dream of those. And we can work on these tendencies by examining our samsaric dreams until we've worked through them. Just to give you a couple of examples, then I'll open it up if you want. But like many years ago, I don't have the dream anymore, but I used to always have this dream that I was standing on the ground and an airplane was coming, and the airplane always crashed. And part of the airplane always hit me. I was never deeply injured in the dream, but in different ways. And I really didn't understand this dream for a lot of years, but I often had it. And then I was working we were working as co-therapists with a psychiatrist, and I said to him, you know, I have this dream. I've had it many repetitive times. What does it really mean? And he said to me, what I think, which was amazing, he said to me, I think it's your ego. I think that when your ego is flying high, it crashes and hurts you. And then you can't fly. You are crushed by that crashed ego. Anyway, he didn't understand all my spiritual things and everything, but the point was that really gave me a real clue. And I knew that I had had a lot of ego in teaching incarnations in the past, and that was the most important lesson for me to learn. Never to create anything where I think I'm better than people, or I think I'm flying on my ego. It was really an important dream. As soon as I got it, the dream stopped. And I really followed that very, very carefully in my life. And many dreams, I remember somebody saying to me, telling me a dream, I'm in a jumbo jet and I can't take off. The jumbo jet can't take off. And I just said, what are you carrying that you're so heavy? I think you should offload a little bit of what you're carrying. You know, that kind of thing. Or there's a universal dream that says, I'm dreaming that I'm a marshmallow floating on the ocean. Okay. Now, a marshmallow on the ocean is definitely just going to dissolve. So this person didn't have anything that they felt okay about. So they were just dissolving. If they were on a spiritual path, I'd say, marvelous. Your whole human part is dissolving, and now you're going to fly with the ocean. You're going to become the ocean. Anyway, just to give you an idea, I thought I must mention this because a lot of people have been working again with me on my dreams, and I spent many years working on samsaric dreams. Then when I got to Tibetan dream yoga, I changed and tried to go a little further. But the bottom line is that it's really important that you understand what you are purifying. And please do me a favor, if you've missed the last 3 sessions, go back and listen, even if you listen to parts, just that you really get an idea. But the bottom line is that when you are going to go on the path of Vajrasattva, don't see Vajrasattva as something out there. See Vajrasattva as the being in your heart. Because when you go to the higher practices, then Vajrasattva is not only one of the 5 Buddhas. Vajrasattva is right in the center. Okay, sometimes we say Akshobhya and Vajrasattva go together, but that's just one aspect. Vajrasattva in the higher practices of Dzogchen is really, really important. And there's something called Vajrasattva's hollow inner passage. Now, I came across that years ago and really didn't understand it properly. And now it's amazing because I always know that a book's going to come my way and a teaching's going to come my way. And so this book came my way, and the whole book is solving the mystery of Vajrasattva's hollow inner passage. Okay, it's called Vajrasattva, and it's by Richard Chambers Prescott. He's a Westerner and very cheeky. He says things as he really finds them. He's apparently written a lot of books. I've never read his books before, but it's very interesting because he is trying to resolve the real process of Vajrasattva within you, and that is called Vajrasattva's hollow inner passage. And just to have a clue, a lot of you won't understand it, not yet, but just to have a clue, Vajrasattva holds all the deities in his heart. So when you come into the bardos, you have a connection with that Vajrasattva part of you, and you are able to meet the deities within Vajrasattva. It's called his hollow inner passage, contains the 100 deities, And we have an opportunity in the death set thing to recognize the 100 deities within Vajrasattva's heart and to bring the wisdoms out so that we are free. But don't worry about that. I'm just mentioning that we can see him as the unity of all the Buddhas in the center of the mandala. And when we do the higher practices, it all unfolds from his heart, white and pure in color. And many times of the practices, you see Vajrasattva and his consort together, and that is how you do the purification. And remember, when we have the first human Dzogchen teacher, who was Garib Dorje, and I've just done a whole lot of Garib Dorje's teachings on a Monday morning, if any of you want to try and get those that weren't there. And in that, Garib Dorje goes to Vajrasattva and receives the teaching. And Garib Dorje is the first human that receives the teaching. So I just wanted to say this so you all understand that Vajrasattva is seen in many, many ways. And it's probably the highest purification practice, not the only purification practice for your karmic imprint. I mean, even if you do have a repetitive dream that you really begin to understand, you can use Vajrasattva because it goes right into the depths of your unconscious, your subconscious, whatever Western things people talk about. That purifying nectar goes right into and cleanses everything. And we don't have anything like that to cleanse us. But if you do a practice like we just did of Chen Rezi, it's absolutely amazing how much cleansing you can get of your negative karma. And also when you read about Chen Rezi, he's always called the Lord of the world that takes your karmic imprints and changes them to ashes with his compassion. So there are many, many aspects of this whole purification. And I just want to go back to one of James Lowe, then I'll throw it open for all of you. James Lowe, when he was talking about the Vajrasattva practice, he said, when we practice, we look in the mirror. And when we look in the mirror, we usually see our faults, our confusions, our limitations. He said, just like an anorexic girl who's skinny sees herself as fat, we see it with our own perception. And within this practice, we see Vajrasattva in the mirror. We are our real nature. And all these deities are methods for recognizing ourselves, especially when you're going through difficulties. You try not to attach to the things that are causing you difficulties and free yourself completely and totally. He says, even if you're not able to visualize, it doesn't matter. You believe, your awareness goes into the central channel and you will get a blessing. He says that Tantra, because Vajrasattva is a tantric practice, is theater. It's theater. The more you enter the theater, the more impact. And he says your whole life's a theater. Our drama of being Melanie is disturbed by entering the drama of being Vajrasattva. Now, when you're going through something really deep and something really difficult in your life, instead of going into the victim mode and look at me, why is this happening to me, and look at all the things I've been through, we actually become Vajrasattva or whichever deity we want. And then our process is disturbed. The whole negative thing that you're going through is disturbed because what would the deity do in that situation? How would it be? It's really, really important for all of you to understand this. It's not just a make thing. These are the aspects that you have in your heart. And it's really important that you're able to do them when you go into the practice, because our inner nature is pure. It's not attached to anything in this world. Not your families, not your houses, not your properties, it's not attached to anything. So when you're in that situation, and a lot of you in this group are going through transitions that you've talked to me about. And when you're going through a transition, it's so important to know that that nature is pure, that nature can cope with whatever is going to happen to you because it's not attached to it in any way. And he says, we want to dissolve all the false, misleading thoughts that arise from not recognizing our own nature of Dharmakaya. We want to self-liberate all these obscurations by remaining without attachment to them. He says, they will go free. Allow them, because these are the imprints that you've created. Allow them to happen without falling off the wagon. And then when they do happen, watch and know that there's this pure nature that is watching whatever negative thing you're going. And I'm talking a lot. He just says you must really say, samaya, 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 benza samaya. It means my body is pure, my speech is pure, my mind is pure. The integrated presence of these three is pure. And then he says, we say, I confess and want to have purification of all these faults I've done. And then you get another chance. You get an amazing chance. If you've done something to somebody, it's such an amazing thing, because the next thing is when you really ask for that Vajrasattva purification, you'll get another chance with another person, even if it's not the same person. So let me throw it open. Maybe some of you have got things you want to ask or say. I've said a lot, but I really want you to understand this and to go back to each week. I've tried to give you all the things that are important in terms of, moving towards purification. Actually, there's nothing to purify, but relatively there is something to purify. Anyone want to ask or say? I'm happy if you do. And about
hello, Mel.
Hello, Henry. We're so happy to have your voice. Yeah, please.
Mel, yeah, I am quite a fan of marshmallows, and for those of you wondering, maybe who tuned in late, why am I referring to marshmallows? I actually saw blue marshmallows today for the first time. There was a reference to a marshmallow floating on the ocean. I loved that. It was a dream. So I had a dream 10 days ago that was quite discombobulated. There were quite a few interesting people in the dream, including Madonna. And then suddenly you appeared in the dream, and I know you visit people, I know you do, and you visited me, but it wasn't really visiting me because I saw you on a screen and you were lecturing. And anyway, that's my story. Here I am 10 days later.
I'm so pleased. And are you more than a blue marshmallow?
Absolutely. I'm with Mel.
And who was Madonna? Can you give her an adjective? What was she doing? What's an adjective for Madonna? It's very important because people look at Madonna in different ways. All her stuff.
Absolutely no. Mine would be power.
Okay, but I wonder what kind of power, and I wonder how she's coping with her life, that's getting a little older and everything, because
exactly with a cane.
So it's very interesting because she was a person who concentrated on her singing, her beauty, and her everything. And I wonder how she's going to be, in old age.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. So in the background, you had me saying, never mind, it's all temporary, it's all transient, just move through it, I like that dream. So I'm sure that you could identify, because a beautiful way of dealing with the karmic imprints in your dream state is to become them. You become them, and then you see. So you become Madonna, and see what it was like. Even the name that she chose I mean, even the name that she chose, isn't it a fascinating name? I mean, the Madonna.
Maybe my Christian unconscious.
But it's interesting, very, very interesting. And we're happy to have you back, Henry. Anyone else?
Mel, yeah. Mel, just quickly to go back to the death and dying in the bardos.
Yes.
I was listening to a scientific doctor's program on a lot of people with near-death experiences. Now, what I know from our teachings, it can be very overwhelming. You can pass out for the first two if you're not awake, if you're not able to awaken. And also in that final bardo, you're blown around a lot by your karma. Now, every single person said they felt this enormous love completely. They will never fear death again. They understood, they were obviously in that third bardo, they understood the karmic lessons, but none of them ever described any kind of confusion or overwhelming. They did say that there was huge noise and also very, very quiet at the same time. So what I'm trying to say is none of them had anything of being overwhelmed, very frightened, or anything like that. Obviously, they came back after the few minutes or whatever, but I was just pondering that.
No, but that's very, very interesting what you're saying, because the thing is that I know people when they have near-death experiences, they experience sometimes amazing light or a pathway of light. You see, I think it depends on the person, it depends on their belief, it depends on how they are, because you don't have to be a Buddhist, to be able to experience death in a different way, but you need to have a confidence. But you see, I think that those near-death experiences are just a couple of minutes. Usually they're a quick near-death experience and back again, and the person knows that they are coming back. So I think I think that they have a kind of a bit of a delusionary experience. They have a true experience, something that touches them, but amazingly, when all of them come back, something changes drastically in their life.
For sure, yeah.
And what is that? Is it a recognition? Is it a re-knowing that there's much more in your life, and that when you come back, you're going to change in a lot of ways? I don't know, I can't say, and I'm very happy if people aren't afraid of death, but I think that if you are okay with yourself and you're okay with your true nature and you're okay with that, and you're not too attached, you probably can, if you've led a relatively good life, have a reasonable experience into death. But the most important thing is that death has got to be a liberation. And I'm not sure that these people are liberated. I'm not sure. I know they have something touching them that brings them back, but every single one of them change when they come back. So you could actually say that something is awakened in them when they go. Maybe that's a very beautiful thing. I don't know,
But now I think when you kind of like leave your body and you kind of like almost transition in a near-death experience, I think you touch the primordial wisdom. I think like, so when you come back, like your identity doesn't make sense anymore.
Exactly.
So, and I think it's a shift in perspective, but I think it's also a shift in vibrational frequency that you undergo. As a person who had a near-death experience recently myself, but anyway, so yeah.
You had one, and
yeah, I was almost killed in a car crash. So yeah.
See that too thing, okay.
Oh, so but like yeah, so but the thing is like I didn't have the flashing lights and all that. I was like more concerned about the people behind me. But in any case, so I think, but like
you went in obviously, you went in obviously with a lot of knowledge when you were there. Okay, so that's very important. But I carry on. You wanted to say something?
But I do think like my crash as well, like was an energy correction as well. Like, so I think kind of things shifted as well for me.
What
As well.
shifted? Because this is so important in what I'm trying to teach. What shifted?
A lot of things. So I think.
Tell us a few, if you can.
So I think I was just like kind of like going through the motions and like to some extent not letting people in or becoming a little bit jaded in life. And I think the crash was just like a wake up,
A push.
a push to, and also like to break free from my own limiting behaviors and stuff. So I think like I said goodbye to the car I had when I came back to South Africa, so which is a long time. So now I finally test drove the car today that I really like. So, and I've really scaled up from a Jimny to a Bucky. But also like, I think it's also just shifted in my presence at work, at my friends and all of that kind of stuff, and also to let people in a little bit more.
Wonderful.
And like also to let go of like a lot of stuff that I clung to maybe before. So, but like, and the thing is effortlessness. And yeah, and since my one ex is on here, but he already knows, like I met somebody as well, effortless throughout, who supported me throughout this whole thing. So you know, so like, so I think it was maybe a necessary kind of wake up. I don't think it was a wake up call. It happened so suddenly, but I think it was just like a like.
You know, what you're saying is so important for everybody. And Mim, that's the thing, that these people who have near-death experiences, something needs to change. I'm not sure how far they go into the death experience, but clearly all of the ones who have near-death experience, and none of them experience great fear, probably mainly because they relaxed, because they didn't expect this. They're not lying and waiting to die or anything. Then they have this amazing experience of their true nature and come back. But I think we all need a wake-up call. I'm listening to so many people who are in such dire straits because of this and because of that and because of the other. And I'm really saying, please look at this from a different perspective. In your life, expect things to change all the time. That's what the Vajrasattva practice says. That's what Lama Lena was saying when she's teaching Vajrasattva. She said, are you the same as you were as a baby, as a child, as this, as that, with all the interdependent causes? And sometimes we go on and on and on in our life, going back to the same old rubbish that we in the first place created. Now, what we're looking at in all of this, having access to all these teachings and having access to the fact that when we look at the Vajrasattva mantra, it's 100 syllables. And those 100 syllables are the 100 aspects of us. Now, think about that. 100 enlightened aspects we've got. And we're sitting here in a limited capacity, saying, I can't do this and I can't manage this and all of that. And then suddenly, wow, comes a whack. You get sick, you do this, you have that, you do that. And then suddenly from the whack, you wake up and you go, hang on a moment. Why was I so attached to all of that? It was inevitably going to change anyway. We're all going to change 1,000,000 times. We're never going to have a smooth life, because why would you come to a schoolroom and enter a physical body if you weren't going to go through experiences, if you weren't going to have deep karmic imprints, losses, bereavement, terrible things happening to you? These are just the cleansing of everything that we've created, the waking up. It's really important, really. And I really think that when I look at people, some people are so brave about what they're going through. They're so brave. They really see it and they get it. Anyone else before we go on? It's really, really important. And I think, Eugene, that's an amazing thing, because I think that when you're on a spiritual path and suddenly you know you're going wrong, you might be following a spiritual path, but you're not getting it. You're not open. You're not compassionate. You're not feeling things the way you should. And you get a smack, some kind of smack in your life. And that's when you beautifully wake up. You don't say, oh, I got a whack. You say, wow, now I can see the truth. And that's how all these masters did with what they did with all their people. They gave them whacks so that they could wake up. So to just go back to what we were doing last time. Sorry, of course. Go on.
Sorry, Mel. Sorry. What's a deja vu?
A deja vu is probably a recollection of something that's happened before. Tell us what deja vu, because sometimes you go, like I've been to lots of countries overseas and everything, and then I'm walking down a street and I get a deja vu. I've been here before.
Okay. Yeah, so like if you've dreamt it in this life and then it happens in the future.
100%.
That's also weird.
Yeah, it's not even weird. It's wonderful, because the point of the matter is, that's wonderful, because we are here repeating things all the time and trying to get a different attitude and a different view. And if it's same old, then it's time for great change. So I think when you have a deja vu, and lots of people have a deja vu meeting someone, okay? Now what happens is, if there is somebody that you have a real karmic imprint with, that you've had before, sometimes a relationship, sometimes a friend, something that you meet again, okay? And the minute you meet them, there's probably an amazing attraction, because why is there an attraction? Not necessarily in the physical, but there's an attraction because deep inside you, you know there's something you have to resolve with this person. And then it's all hunky-dory to bring you into this relationship for a while, and then the karma reveals itself. I've seen this with so many couples and things like that, that, you know, as soon as, like, there's this great attraction and it feels amazing, and then a little way down the line, all the karma arises, you know, and there's hatred and angers and all sorts of things that come from before. And I just say to people, I can see straight away when I see couples, I don't see so many couples anymore, but quite a lot on Zoom and everything. When I look at couples, I can see what they are repeating, what deja vus they've had before, because it's clear to me that if those things don't get resolved now, you're either not going to have an opportunity to resolve them, or something really hectic karmically is going to happen to you in order to wake up and realize. It's really important. Sorry, you
Mel,
wanted
just a quick question. Other than my story that I told, I think you are aware, right, that you visit people in their dreams.
I do often visit, yeah, but
okay.
Not visiting people. I'm often in places and the people are there, or I have some.
Yeah.
But especially after they die, that's what I always do. And I'm not doing a lot of it anymore, but after they die, I often meet people, and then you see what's going on with them, you know, in the bardos. Why do you say that? It's just being awake in your dreams, you know, it's just being aware. And often I'll take...
I'm just going back to maybe 3-4 years ago. I think we had a conversation about dreams, and I think you mentioned this, but yeah, perhaps visit is not the right word, but appear.
Yeah. Yeah. And also sometimes when I'm appearing in your dream, it's your projection of you, whatever you've put onto me, you are seeing, because the people in your dreams are generally people that are parts of you resolving in you. So that's why I like to say to people when they have a dream about somebody, and then I say, without thinking, give me an adjective for that person. And they'll say power, or they'll say never able to cope, or they'll say victim, or they'll say just one adjective, or they'll say bright, perceptive. Then I'll go, right. Now let's look at that quality in you. Instead of seeing it as that person, look at it in you. I mean, there are lots of things. And, you know, I think in these groups, Avril, who just came back, she actually suggested to me a little while ago, she said, you know, it would be so nice if sometimes we didn't record and we just had a discussion in the group and we each had a chance to say things. She said it would really be good because people would feel that group energy. And I think that is really a nice idea. And maybe we could do that at some future date. But let's go back to...
Well,
sorry?
just, I'd like to hear Kathy because she's sent a message in.
Sorry, yeah.
I'm interested in the answer to that.
Okay, let's just put her things. Wait a minute, am I looking at chat? So Kathy said, because she's on the train, that's why she's not saying it aloud. But could death be an illusion in itself? For sure. We think we are having this experience, but it's just another delusion. Well, I think it depends on what level you are having that experience. You know, I really think it depends on what level you're having that experience. But yes, death is a delusion and death is an illusion. And the only reason we have it is because we haven't resolved what we came to do. But once you awaken to your Vajra body, speech and mind, or rainbow body, there is no death. So yes, it is an illusion. And it is a delusion what we actually see. But when we free ourselves, the illusion's gone. It is only on a relative level that it is an illusion. But once you go into the clear light, it's who you are. But why don't we recognize that? I mean, how many of you, when you're going through deep troubles and deep trials and tribulations, how many of you actually say, let me just sit down and get a blessing from what we were talking about in Yeshi Tsogyal's prayer in the Monday morning, from your Mahaguru inside, not from someone outside, but from your Guru Rinpoche, your Vajrasattva inside. If you just sit and wait it out and not interfere and maneuver it and manipulate it and make it into other things, if you just wait and allow it, it would reveal to you that delusion. It would show it to you. Now, that's what death is. That illusion or delusion of death is what shows you in a mirror the truth. But when you're in a body, we don't see the truth. We blame it. We see duality. We see it as solid. We see it as all these sort of things. We don't see the illusion. And really, when these masters talk, I can't explain it to you. What they say is so different to what we experience because they see a pure land. That's what they see. They see the pure expression, also illusionary, but the pure expression of our essence, not the impure. The impure is your imprints and your deep mistakes and your delusions. But definitely birth is an illusion or a delusion, and so is death. And that's what we're working towards. Like I told you, I told Taisito Rinpoche, I said, please, can you help me to attain the rainbow body? And I didn't laugh at me, but he smiled. Okay, why do I want the rainbow body? Because I don't want to be in a limited, delusional ego body anymore. I want to be free, so that if Henry calls me, I want to be able to go there. I want to be able to be whatever he needs. I want to be whatever any of you need. I just don't want to have this identity with this thing, with houses and properties and families and all kinds of things. I want to be free. Now, when you're in a rainbow body, that means you've gone out of the illusion. You can say you've gone out of the illusion, and now you exist in the clear light. And so you can manifest wherever you want to be, not only on the earth plane, in a million billion universes. You can go everywhere. You can magnetize thousands and millions of people. Emma ho. So I told you that Taisito Rinpoche said to me, why don't you rather come back? He said, why don't you rather come back and do the Shedra? 14 years of learning, at least it would be a Buddhist university. But he said, why don't you come back in an Asian family and do the Shedra for 14 years? I said, it's very kind of you to offer me this, Rinpoche. I said, but no, I don't want that. I want to be free. I want to be able to serve and help freely. Help me to do that, to get there. And it's so interesting because in Vajrasattva, Prescott's book, he says, these secret practices, he says, I don't know if they should be secret. He said, in the Bond tradition, everybody could be exposed to them, so that you could attain a rainbow body quite easily if you followed the path correctly. So it's interesting. And I really do want to overcome birth and death. So it's really important. So let's just go back to last time. I just want to say a couple more things about the Nundra. I know it was 2 weeks ago, but we spoke about last time why the preliminary practices are so important. And I said to you, even if you don't want to do them in the way that they are set out with 100,000 of each of them, even if you don't want to do them, do a little bit every day, because each of them have got that amazing, necessary thing that we need to understand what we are doing here. So we talked last time about the 4 thoughts that turn the mind. Do them, Google them, get a book on them. There are many books on them. You could Google them, the 4 thoughts in Buddhism that turn the mind, and just ponder them. Ponder them when you're sitting and waiting. But what they do is they turn your mind to see the truth, not to see all your delusions, your attachments, your irritability and everything. They turn the mind. And then refuge and bodhicitta. Now, just to come, I wanted to do the Vajrasattva practice tonight. Don't know if we'll be able to. It's a bit late, but we'll do it next time. But when you look at refuge and bodhicitta, even if you do a little Vajrasattva practice, it's really necessary to do some refuge and some bodhicitta, because that sets the stage. Now, I don't care if you don't do it formally. I just want you to understand that when you take refuge, ultimately you're taking refuge in your own Vajra body, speech and mind, your own Dharmakaya, which is your absolute essence, your own Sambhogakaya, which is your pure pure expression of the essence, and your near Manakaya, which can go anywhere and everywhere and be all things for all people, giving service. Okay, you can take refuge in that. And let's just go back to those little practices, Fee, so we can do them together. If you can, I'm sorry, but that's really very helpful, that we just do the first two. The second one, the first is the refuge, and the second one is bodhicitta. And bodhicitta is basically when in your heart you really want to serve beings, you really want to change the suffering. I don't care how you say it. You don't have to say it in this formal way. You can even say, I take refuge in my higher bodies. I don't mind if you do that. I take refuge in my true nature. Just the fact that you are trusting that. And then if you don't want to do the formal practice, you can say, I really want to save all sentient beings that are suffering. It's so strong in my heart. It's such a compassion in my heart. I really, not that, I don't want to do that one, Fee. You know those ones I sent you. Those everybody's got. But those ones, do you remember I sent you?
There are quite a few things that I have. Which one is it?
I know. So that one, you know, those are the ones in the empty essence, Dharmakaya, in the cognizant nature, Sambhogakaya, and then the next one, and we'll just go to the essence of Vajrasattva as well, those little practices. Do you remember I gave it to you?
I've got it, Mel, but it's just, you know, I wasn't too sure what it was.
Sure, absolutely, absolutely, that's fine. And you can do them, but these are the real ultimate refuge. If you want them, take them down. They are beautiful. You can say them in 1 minute. Namo. These are your inner refuge, not something outside. In the empty essence, Dharmakaya. In the luminous nature, Sambhogakaya. In the manifold capacity, near Manakaya, I take refuge until enlightenment. If you want to, you could just say, I take refuge in the Buddha, I take refuge in the Dharma, I take refuge in the Sangha. But this is the ultimate inner refuge. It's when you're saying, I trust in my Buddha nature totally and utterly. It's one paragraph. And you could say it 3 times if you want, or you can make up your own. You can say, I take refuge in my 3 beautiful bodies, the essence, the expression of the essence, and the manifold capacity of the essence. I don't mind how you do it, but this is the formal practice that they have of the inner refuge. And those of you that want to say it, it's a beautiful way to say it. Now, bodhicitta, you could say in the bodhicitta, all I want to do is help suffering sentient beings, which is all you want. There are so many wars, there are so many everythings. I just want to be able to make a difference so that people don't suffer. I want to use my compassionate heart. And so this one is really a beautiful one. It's the inner bodhicitta, and it goes, ho. In order to establish all beings equal to the sky in the state of Buddhahood, you could say in the state of freedom, doesn't really matter, I will realize the Dharmakaya of self-existing awareness through the teachings of the great perfection. So what you're saying is, you're going inside. I want to change all sentient beings into being able to go beyond their suffering with the awareness that I've got in my beautiful essence, my Dharmakaya, through the highest teachings that there are. You can put it in your own words. It really doesn't matter. It's that you need these 2 things, even if you're going to do a little Vajrasattva practice. So like Lamalena says, if you're going into the shower and you want to do a couple of Vajrasattva mantras just to cleanse yourself, just make up a little refuge and make up a little inner bodhicitta as you're going into the shower. So go. I take refuge in my highest bodies. May I have the essence, may I have the luminosity, may I have the manifold capacity, and I take refuge in this. And may I always establish all beings equal to the sky in the state of freedom. Use the word freedom if you want. I'm going to realize my true nature and really help all sentient beings that I can. That's enough. Make it in your own words if you want. It doesn't really matter. These are just formal words. Now just go to the Vajrasattva. Please be the next one that I sent you.
Okay, I can just see if I've got it.
Because you do it so beautifully, honestly.
Yeah, it's
So
there's a
that's
few
the
things.
outer ring.
There are a few things.
Oh,
I've
wait,
missed.
not there. Okay, there. Now this is, sorry, that one you just showed now.
With that one.
Before. No, just what you showed with that one. Yeah. Which is so beautiful. Here is a very, very essence of Vajrasattva. It says, this primordial body of momentary delusion, this body that I've got, that's absolutely going to be passing in 5 minutes, okay, is actually a primordially pure body of light. Now here you are acknowledging my body of momentary delusion is really a primordial pure body of light. In a state of brightness, I visualize distinct and perfect the naturally present Vajrasattva. That's the Vajrasattva inside you. Om Vajrasattva Ah. I like saying Om Vajrasattva Hum, but you can use Ah as well. It's just going to the purity within your own self. And then the mandala offering. You don't have to use these. I'm just giving you an idea, okay? Within the space of emptiness, place as heaps, awareness resting freely, always awareness with the emptiness. This mandala of undivided space and awareness, I offer the Sagatas of the Buddhas to the Buddhas of primordial purity. Guru Mandala Puja Ho, a beautiful short mandala offering. The mandala offering is to accumulate merit, okay? When you accumulate merit by offering what you've got, and that was where we were at. You can take that off. Thanks so much, P. That's beautiful, and you've done it beautifully. If you look at those, you know, you can do them in your own words with pleasure. But what we're doing with the 4 practices in the Nondra is we're doing refuge and bodhicitta with some prostrations, and that goes to the energy wind and it gets you connected. Then from there you are doing your refuge or bodhicitta, and then you're doing the prostration, the mandala offering. I want to take this mandala offering. It's how you accumulate merit. But what is very beautiful, and we'll do this when we do the lecture on merit, that Rob Priest said, you know, the mandala offering that Westerners are given, they don't really understand it. They don't understand because it's very complex with Mount Meru in the middle and the 4 continents. They don't understand. So what Rob Priest did was he made up a Western mandala offering. And I am very happy if you do that. I'll give it to you another time when we do the merit. But you just say, as long as you are offering something. And what I say to everybody, if you want a new house, more finances, you want your children to be happy and not be sick, you want this, you want that, what are you offering in exchange? Offer everything from your heart. I offer my work. I offer my teaching. I offer my counseling. I offer my home, my new home. I've been taking in the mandala offering and saying, I am offering my new home. Whatever that home is, I want it to be a home where service happens. I offer everything from my heart. That's good enough. I don't care if you don't do it formally, just get the principle of it. And then the Guru Yoga, which I've done lots of lectures and you can go and see, which is taking the body, speech, and mind of the Guru and clearing your body, speech, and mind in the 4 empowerments. We won't go into it now. But when you do all of this, those 4, you are ready. The Vajrasattva is the second practice. So after refuge and bodhicitta, you do the Vajrasattva. And it's very beautiful. And a lot of people have said to me, but Melanie, how do you memorize the 100 syllables? It's very easy. After you do it a few times, really know it. It's very easy. You do it so easily. But even if you don't, you can go Om Benza Sato Hang. You can go Om Vajrasattva. You can do any of those little mantras. Om Benza Sato Hung, or Om Benza Sato Ha, or Om Vajrasattva Ha. Doesn't matter. But the 100 syllables is the cleansing of all the qualities inside you. It's really important. And then you can come on to the Vajrasattva practice. I'm going to give you just about a 7-minute practice, okay? From Dilgo Kienzi, I'm going to give you a 7-minute practice to do, but I'm not going to do it tonight because it's too late. Let's just do a beautiful meditation and then you can ask me, okay? So everybody, just relax, don't sleep yet. Just relax and breathe in and breathe out, and don't see it as too complex. Just see your whole life in front of you, all the things you've been through, sorrows, bereavement, losses, sickness, pain. Just see everything in your life along the path. Just watch how everything, none of it is permanent. The moment you go through the gates of the bardo, all of it is dissolved. There's nothing left of it, unless your mind is attaching to it. So right now, I want you to cut the strings of your meditation. Cut the strings of your attachment to this working out and that working out and this not happening and that not happening and this not coping and this illness and this everything. I want you to take a huge pair of shears and cut it. Just let it go, as though you were in the right place at the right moment. Just feel in your heart a certain gratitude for the hardships, for they have been the very big teachers. Just bow your head in gratitude, thinking about them. And just see the practices of the Nondra. We're just going to go through all of them now. How they help you, how they serve you, why we are given this in order to prepare us. First, trust in the fact that you have an awakened nature. Trust it with all your heart. Trust it, even if you can't feel it right now. Just trust it with all your heart and soul. There is a part of me that is perfect, that doesn't have any loopholes, that doesn't have any difficulties, that doesn't have anything. It's in me. It is me. My body is primordially made of light. And just let's touch the 4 mind turners. Precious human life. How beautiful that this precious human life is given to us so that we are able to clear ourselves and become free. Impermanence and death. Nothing is for sure. It's all impermanent. And then you die, you have to let go of it. Everything is impermanent. Your families, your homes, your food, your life, it's all impermanent, and you have to let it go. Third, karma, cause and effect. So many causes in my life. I came to be alone in this life because of things that I had done. I came to do this in this life because of what I have to go through. This happened because of this, because of this, because of this. Let me be cautious. Let me not hurt. Let me try and see other people through their own eyes and give them everything that I have. And fourthly, everything in this illusionary world is like putting my head on a block, an executioner's block. So whether it's good or bad or indifferent, let me be able to just be at peace, and let me know that everything in this world is temporary and impermanent. It makes no difference. Let me just trust in that beautiful nature. And then the refuge and the bodhicitta. I take refuge in all that I've been given that is very beautiful, not my day-to-day things, but the beauty of the Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, of the practices of everything, and the beauty of my higher bodies, the Dharmakaya, my pure essence, the Sambhogakaya, my pure awareness and luminosity, beautiful colors, my Nirmanakaya, my pure body that can become everything to anyone. I take refuge in it. And please, let us all help and serve from the bottom of our hearts whoever is in trouble, whoever, from the beggar on the side of the street to everything. Just let me touch their hearts in some way. Even if I don't have money to give and I don't have things to give, let me just give them one word of tenderness from my heart. That is bodhicitta. And we do a little bit of prostrations. Why? Because the prostrations bring those energy winds which carry the karma, which, if you go back to the previous lecture, it carries the karma. It's a way of bending the knee and clearing the energy winds. And then we go on to the Vajrasattva practice, which I will give you a lovely short version of it, okay? And the Vajrasattva practice is this beautiful practice that goes deep, deep, deep into all the energy winds, into everything that is in our beings, into awakening all the qualities. It goes so deep in us that it actually cleanses all the gunge in us. And we will do that practice. It is Vajrasattva within you or above you, clearing it. And as we do the clearing, which we'll do next week, we visualize all the people we know that are in trouble, and we pour it into their beings that they too can be cleansed. And we use this absolutely purifying practice. And then we go to the mandala offering. What am I offering? Am I offering what the Tibetans say, Mount Meru, or am I just giving a beautiful mandala from my heart? I am offering my housework, my children, my family, my home, my food, my everything. Do it yourselves right now. Put your hands out and offer it, whatever you've got, whatever you do beautifully, my energy, my teaching, my caring. I'm offering it all. So important for accumulating the merit when it comes from your heart. And then you are able to get in return. So what am I offering? When people say to me, I can't get a job, I can't get this, I don't know where I'm going to get a home from, I don't know where this, I just say, offer. Offer the mandala offering from your heart. Whenever you offer, you receive. So that mandala offering, if you do it formally or informally, is really, really important from your heart, and it loosens the grip of your attachment to everything in your life. You're no longer attaching. It's about surrendering, offering our entirety. It's about the inner experience of letting go of every talent, every aspect of ourselves. It helps to loosen our grip, our attachment, especially if we become obsessive about a lot of things. And when you actually give that mandala offering, you are offering so that you are in a position to receive. And then the Guru Yoga. The Guru Yoga, I like to do it with Guru Rinpoche above my head, first to purify your body from the top of your head, the white vase empowerment. Then to purify your speech, I go, secret empowerment, red, from the Guru's throat into my throat, cleansing my speech, cleansing my energy, all the prana, cleansing everything. And then into the heart, for your mind, blue, from the Guru's heart into your heart, cleansing your mind of all its obsessions, its negativity, its angers, its hatred, its attachments, its delusion. Feel that beautiful blue empowerment cleansing your mind. And finally, all three together in the Guru Yoga, the word empowerment, giving you all three so that the Guru's blessing helps you to travel at a speed to enlightenment in a much shorter time. Now you can do the Guru Yoga as well in a 5-10 minute practice. I'll help any of you to do it. Any of you. I've done a lot of talk, but I'll help you even so. And those are the practices. Now when you've got them, I want you to just sit for a moment before we end and just feel the privilege of knowing all this, the privilege of doing it. I don't care if you do it for 15 minutes, 10 minutes, 5 minutes, but put all these together. I don't mind if you put it in your own words. It's the sincerity. It is the moving to actually feel that Dharmakaya, that essence, blue, open, spacious, able to accommodate everything. Feel it, the trust in it, no matter what you're going through. Hear the sound, the inner sound. And we will do that Vajrasattva, we will do a proper practice, just short, 5 minutes, 7 minutes, and we will do the Vajrasattva practice next time. But it's very important that you see in relation to everything. Very important. let's dedicate, and then I'll stay if anybody wants to ask me anything, okay, with pleasure. And also, I really am available for all of you. If you want to ask me about your practices, about how you can do it, I am so happy to give that to you with the greatest of pleasure. Just incorporate. You know, somebody said to me today that the Tibetan practice is a little foreign to them, and it makes them a bit uncomfortable about their own religion. I said, don't at all. My best example is my little Ika. Okay, Ika is absolutely amazing because she's taken her absolute devotion to Catholicism, and she's just broadened it out to the world. You know, she still wants God or Jesus or whatever she wants, but she does it in the most beautiful way, and that's fresh. And I know she's been going through a really hard, difficult, challenging time in Poland, and I saw the elections as well. But the thing is, she never gives up. Do you know that I get a text from her after every single session? She says, Melanie, this is what I learned today. You know how that enthralls me? I'm so happy when I get her text. She says, thank you for this. This is what I learned. This is what I'm applying to my life. It's amazing. You're a great example. And Tati, you're going to read us your aspirations when we do the merit session. We might go on to it after Vajrasattva, but I really, you know, some of you are doing such beautiful work, and you're really getting it. Get it in your heart. Apply it the way you need to. You don't have to be rigid, or like a Zongsa says, do it in exactly the Tibetan tradition. We're never going to be Tibetan. That's why there are lots of Western teachers to help break the barriers down. So let's dedicate, and then if anybody wants anything, with pleasure. And we dedicate, first of all, I dedicate to all of you, because there are quite a few of you in this group that are going through a lot of suffering at the moment, that have shared that with me. And I really, really pray that you can take something from all of this and just apply it to your lives and be free from suffering. I really pray for that. And the wars and the hostages and the hatred between nations and this, you know, all the right-wing governments of the world that are not caring about certain population. I really, if there's anything that can come out of tonight's teaching, I dedicate it to all those beings who are suffering. And through this merit, may all beings attain omniscience, may all obscurations fall away from the stormy waves of birth, old age, sickness, and death. From the ocean of samsara, may all beings be freed. Sonam diye tamje ane topne nepe dranam tamshene chega nachi bala topaye sipe sole doa do warsho.